Good evening, fellow lions, distinguished lions and Leos, fellow lions and Leos. I am Lion Roslyn, Associate Chair, Drug Addiction and Abuse for Region 4. I was supposed to come to you guys on Monday, so I'll just try and do this now. Drug addiction and abuse has been a scourge in our beautiful island. It has taken some of our best and brightest minds, lawyers, doctors, journalists, to name a few. What we know as what we know as addiction and abuse has changed over the years and is still changing. Each village had its own town or the own town drunk, which is normally an older man. As a matter of fact, I had two uncles who died from alcoholism, which is a disease. And I have two brothers who are drunks also. That's the main thing I knew about drug addiction and abuse. Um, Now that they have placed me in this position, I have had to go to National Council on Drug Abuse and get some training to understand all I can about it. In this day and age, now you have teenage girls smoking weed and drinking rum while at school. They use gummy bears of various colors, double the plastic bags, and pour alcohol on it. When you see them walking around, you think they're drinking bag juice when actually they are drinking rum. You have 10-year-old girls who are using white powder, making lines, and sniffing like they're sniffing cocaine. I met a bus driver the other day and he told me 16-year-old daughter can drink more than him and he was proud of it. Who is influencing our kids? Can you imagine that? We have 2-year-old children smoking for up to 40 cigarettes per day. We have 6-year-old drunks right here in Jamaica. Yes, we do. How can we as Lions help to alleviate some of the suffering in our communities? Well, what I have done so far is partnered with the National Council on Drug Abuse. They always want volunteers. So you can call and give your name, and when they have a slate of people, they'll call you for training. I was just trained in January. Therefore, I've gotten some information which I can disseminate. They are going into schools with different programs and they have about 10 different programs. And since I got my training in January, I have been on one that is called Operation Lighthouse. It is a universal prevention program that targets young persons and their parents. This family-based approach seeks to help to build communication skills within the family and supports a protective environment for dealing with prevention of substance misuse in the home. Uh, there, it's a lot. It's really a lot. I don't want to bombard you, so to speak. Um, some of the information that National Council on Drug Abuse have, did I say that right? They have 10 different programs and they run simultaneously. About 8 of the programs are school-based programs. As Lions, we have the necessary skills and enthusiasm to work and support this cause. Let's reach out, join hands from a distance as we offer service without boundaries, touching lives, transforming communities. Please stay safe, stay strong while we undergo this lockdown, coronavirus, COVID-19. This is about a little about drugs. What is a drug? A drug is any chemical substance which alters the natural process of the body. Example, your mental mood, perception, physical behavior. Some drugs are legal. Example, alcohol, tobacco, and aspirin. And other drugs are illegal. Example, marijuana and cocaine. The abuse of all drugs, whether legal or illegal, can lead to personal and societal problems. What is drug abuse? Drug abuse is the use of any drug, whether illegal or legal, for purposes other than those for which it is meant to be. It causes physical, mental, emotional, legal, and other social problems. What is drug addiction? Drug addiction or dependence is a compelling drive to use harmful amounts of drugs and to use them at regular intervals. The abuser must continuously take the drug in order to feel good, meaning him take one shot, then him another time him have to take two, another time have to take three. So them smoke one spliff, that not enough. The one spliff used to make him high, but then when you smoke again, you have to smoke two and three and make it go up. The person usually feels that he or she cannot live without it. Addiction is a brain disease. This means that there is something wrong in the working of the brain. There is an unending craving, and the continuous need to satisfy the craving experienced in addiction changes the way the brain normally behaves. That means that when somebody beg your money, say they're hungry, they're really hungry. But you see, by the time the money come in their hand, the brain say, no man, we need some drugs, we need some drugs. And they go and buy the drugs without, buying the food. Although initial drug use might be voluntary, once addiction develops, this control is markedly disrupted. Imaging studies have shown specific abnormalities in the brains of addicted individuals. That means you and I who are not on drugs, our brain is look different from theirs. Theirs have some abnormality in it. A person who have an addiction. Why do people take drugs? These are some of the questions. There are many different reasons. Many times there is never one single reason. Some reasons why people use drugs are: 1, to relax and deal with stress; 2, to feel happy; 3, they want to be like their friends; 4, they want to feel accepted; 5, drugs are easily available around them; 6, to forget their problems; and 7, this is inherited, it runs in the family, meaning father drink, mother drink, children drink, uncle drink. It doesn't skip a generation. Okay, these are some of the signs and symptoms of drug abuse. Physical signs: person may lose interest in their appearance and are not as neat as before. Persons, you remember how they shot this guy who was a journalist, big journalist on TV, because he was on the road and looking shabby. Nobody, the security wouldn't recognize him. None of us would recognize him, that he was this big shot who used to read news on TV. Persons may have changes in their sleep patterns, staying up all night or sleeping all day. Persons may become overly active or very lazy. So you have some people, when them smoke weed, whoa, them take down the house top and build up back the house. And another set of people, all them can do is sleep and eat and drink. An increase in the number of colds, so their immune system is going down, so they catch a lot of cold easily. And red, watery eyes with drooping eyelids. In the social and emotional part of it now, you have drastic changes in personality. The person may become erratic or bursting with happiness one moment and violently angry the next. That means something like bipolar disorder. I don't know if you know what that is. Becoming secretive or devious, not wanting family or friends in his room, or not wanting anybody to know what he's doing. Avoiding school and resentful towards teachers. This would be the teenagers now. Inability to concentrate, because some of them do believe that if they smoke the weed, it will make them brighter. But sometimes it's the opposite for them. It's like some people can eat sardine out of the can. I do, but it don't do me anything. But then if another person does it, they have to end up in the hospital in the emergency because they are dying. It's close enough. Like how they say some people cannot eat peanut because it will close up their airways and they'll die. Okay. In disrespectful to law and order, possession of drug or drug paraphernalia. This is about alcohol. It is the most commonly used drug in Jamaica. Alcohol is a depressant, meaning that it slows down vital functions. This will cause slurred speech, unsteady movement, the drunken man rock sideways, disturb perceptions. That means they have a different kind of thinking and belief and an inability to react quickly. Young people versus adults, what's the difference? A young person's body cannot cope with alcohol the same way as an adult. I don't know if you hear about some of these kids who doing these binge drinking abroad in the colleges and they end up dying because the alcohol has poisoned their system. They take in too much at one time. Drinking is more harmful to teens than adults because their brains are still developing throughout adolescence and well into young adulthood. I understand that a young person's brain is not fully developed till they are way in their mid-20s or near 30s. Drinking during this critical growth period can lead to lifelong damage in how the brain functions, particularly as it relates to memory, motor skills, that's the ability to move, and coordination. Short-term effects. So these are some of the short-term effects when you drink. You get headaches, breathing difficulties, impaired judgment, decreased perception and coordination, anemia, loss of red blood cells. That means, people say anemic, that means your blood weak. Blackouts, more memory lapses, where the drinker cannot remember events that occurred while under the influence. So some people, when them drink, them stand up on top of them head and dance, them climb up on top of the table and dance. And when you tell them that they did that the next day, they say, no, you're telling lies on them. Don't remember doing anything like that. They do all sorts of stuff. And this is how even having sex with people that they don't know, and the next day they don't remember anything. And of course, coma, which is what happens to the college kids, the college students when they do this binge drinking. Okay, the long-term effects now are what you hear: liver disease. So I have my uncle, his liver turned to stone inside his body. Yes. Nerve damage, sexual problems, permanent damage to the brain, ulcers, and cancer of the mouth and throat, malnutrition because they drink and they don't eat, gastritis, inflammation of stomach walls. That's what happened to my other uncle. Increased family problems, broken relationships, alcohol poisoning. This is what I'm talking about. This is what happened to the college students abroad who do this binge drinking. The alcohol poisons their body and then they go in a coma and die. You can have high blood pressure, stroke, and other heart-related diseases. You have vitamin B deficiency. I knew a man, when he got very sick, he got weak. I remember what, and he had to go to the hospital and they give him vitamin B injections to build him up back because he's an alcoholic and he was deficient in vitamin B. When you're deficient in vitamin B, you can just feel weak and cannot walk and stuff like that. And this, which can lead to disorder characterized by amnesia. Amnesia is memory loss, forgetting, apathy, and disorientation.